Hey guys, I am making a video, something that really struck with me. My husband did a video on home invasion mitigation, and I started, refreshing my mind and running through the drills and remembering what I'm supposed to do, in the event that there was a home invasion and someone pushed through the door. And then my husband kind of mentioned, maybe there's some folks that want to hear about that, the ones that are afraid to use the guns, or they're afraid that they've never even used a gun before. It's a tough situation when you're in that place. I don't think I can say that I've ever been afraid of a gun, but some people feel morally opposed to using them. The thought of taking another life is absolutely horrible to them. If you have children, you might have thought about what you would do in order to protect them, so that might have changed your perspective a little. But there was a movie, The Law-Abiding Citizen. It was pretty popular. Gerard Butler was in it. There was an opening scene. If you have not seen the movie, or if your spouse has not seen the movie, or the one that might be afraid of that whole protection piece, home invasion protection, have them watch that opening scene. Talk about feeling absolutely helpless. They were unprepared, and it was absolutely costly. I don't want to totally ruin it for you, but you've got to see that scene. So find it, look it up, watch that. I mean, because that opening scene is infuriating, because the helplessness of that family in that situation cost lives, and it's disgusting, truly. So you've got to think about, well, okay, so what do I do? Well, what do you do? So the first thing, you've got to be able to overcome that fear of self-defense. And in a family or in a home, it's not just self-defense, it's family defense, because you have small children or other people that cannot protect themselves. And in a relationship or in a home, it really, you've got to get that other person involved. Obviously it's hard with kids if you're a single parent or something, but you got to have that discussion even with your children. It is a horrible, horrible thing to think about someone breaking into your home, but it is even more horrible to think that you are absolutely helpless and will be allowed to get tied up and raped, or be forced to watch something like that, or watch your husband get shot, or God forbid the millions of other things that home invasions, burglaries, robberies, folks that are out there to do bad things, because they exist. It would be a horrible thing to think that you cannot do anything. You have to. It's self-preservation. You have to be able to do that for yourself, for your children, for your family. So watch that opening scene in Law-Abiding Citizen, and hopefully that will start a fire in your belly to get out there and understand what the importance of protection for yourself and your family. So what's the next step? So you've got to get trained, right? I know my husband was mentioning that there's a lot of guys that said, well, what do I do? What do I do about the wife, the spouse that doesn't want to do that? Something I was thinking about and have run into before, sometimes it's helpful to have the training done by somebody other than you. If you are the one that knows how to use the weapon, if you are the one that knows how to handle it, and you are the one that wants to train and get her involved, have someone else do that. Sometimes it can be, especially when you're in a relationship, it can be really, really intimidating to have your spouse or partner the one doing the training, because you don't want to look like a fool. So, meaning like the person you're training, they don't want to look like a fool. So, if you want to get them involved, they might say, "Oh no, honey, that's great," but they're still not doing it. They're still not doing it. Honestly, it's probably because, especially for women, they don't want to look like an idiot in front of you. You know what you're doing. You've fired a weapon. You've maybe already provided training to others, and you don't go into this with the intention of, you know, feeling like, or telling them or making them feel like a fool, but it's human nature. You know, you don't want to look like an idiot in front of your spouse. So go to your local range, wherever that is, even a buddy. If you're in the sticks someplace and you don't have a shooting range close by where there's, you know, classes offered or whatever, go to a buddy. Maybe there's someone that, you know, they might want to, especially for the females, if there are other females that already are involved in that and can provide that training safely. You know, some people just have, you know, familiarity with weapons, but may not be qualified to train someone on how to use it or how to, you know, to handle that. So find someone that can do that. That may not be you. So that might help get them over that hunch. Christmas is coming up, man. Buy them some range time, or get them involved in a class. You know, have that be part of it. And you know, it might be a little bit of a nudge to get them out the door, but once they're there, I really think that once you get there, it's a pretty cathartic experience. Just getting past that hunch of the big scary gun. I know, or you know, that not the hunch, that speed bump. You know, it's the big scary gun, you know, and I think that's where a lot of people are. They don't know how to use it. They only see what it does, and then they only hear, you know, the bad things on the news and in the movies and all that. So you've just got to get them past that first step. So, you know, and at the end of the day, if it is just absolutely morally something that they could never ever do, and they've made that attempt as a spouse, as a partner, that's one of those things that, you know, I mean, if you really truly want them to do, I think that it would be fair for that spouse or partner to at least give it a try. It's worth it. Have that conversation if you have to. So, okay, so you're past that point and they absolutely won't do it. Well, you still got to talk about what you're going to do when someone pushes in your door. So what are you going to do? I mean, it's just like a fire drill. You have the fire drill. If your house is on fire, where do you go? Who gets the kids? Where do you meet? What do you grab? Where's your firebox that has your socials and all of your, you know, your bio stuff in there? You know, who does what, right? You have that drill. Hopefully, if you don't, you better. You know, it's the same thing. You're willing to protect yourself from a fire. Well, the fire can kill you just as quickly as the dude. In fact, probably quicker than, no, not quicker than the guy coming through the door. So you've got to be just as prepared for that as well. So you've got to come up with a plan, and you've got to have that conversation. You've got to get your spouses involved, no matter what it is. If they cannot be willing to go and grab that gun and kill that man that is trying to kill your spouse, or, you know, no, you've just got to make that leap. You've got to be prepared and willing to do that. And you know, it's tough. I get it. You know, it's hard to think about that, but think about your family. Think about how terrible it would be to die like that. I mean, who would want to die like that? Nobody. So get in there. Have a plan. It's really, really important. Know where you're going in the house. Always know where all your weapons are. If you're not going to have weapons, know where you need to go, or come up with a backup plan, so that you have done something. You know, you don't just sit there and lay down and take it. You know, you can't, don't be a victim. No matter what in life, don't ever be a victim. It doesn't matter if it's someone breaking into your house or whatever. Don't be a victim. But, yeah, I hope the wives and the spouses out there watch that beginning scene in Law Abiding Citizen, and just don't be a victim. I don't even know how else to convey the importance of having a plan, knowing what to do, who does what. It's just like your fire drills for your house. Who does what, and you know, what are you going to do? So, I don't know. I'm done rambling. That was one of those things that really stuck with me, watching that video that Irish did yesterday. Get trained up. If your wives or your spouses won't get involved because it's a gun, get a bat. You know, something that's a little bit, you know, you just don't be a victim, and have that plan. Know what to do. It's really important. Thanks. Cheers.